All right, so what we've got, Josh, is a couple of dishes we're going to make today. One of them is some pad thai made with spaghetti squash. And what we're looking at right now is everything that we're going to use to make the sauce. And I'll be right back and I'll show you everything that we're going to use actually to put into the dish. All right, and so here are all the veggies that will actually go into the dish. So in all, we've got spaghetti squash. We're going to have olive oil, salt, pepper. That's to cook the squash. Then the filling is going to be that cucumber, a carrot, a cup of bell pepper, half a cup of green onion chopped, half a cup of onion diced. And then for the sauce, we're going to use a little bit of water, some soy sauce, sesame oil, honey, fresh lime juice, sriracha, peanut butter, and fresh ginger. All right, we'll be back when we start dicing stuff up. All right, then to go along with that dish, we're going to do some cauliflower fried rice, which is going to be cauliflower, peas and carrots, a couple of eggs, some scallions, onion, about a half an onion, half a cup, some garlic, and then a little bit of sesame oil and some soy sauce. And so we're going to get busy and start chopping some of this stuff and show you how to put it all together. Alright, so this is the spaghetti squash. You're going to want to make sure you got a good sharp knife for this because it is these things are really tough and you could cut yourself pretty easily. But I basically just get it going like that. Start the other end, get through that end piece there, right there, and once you're through that, then it all goes pretty good. Well, this one's being a little bit stubborn. There we go. All right, snapped, and then that's what you've got. So we'll clean that thing out. So basically, you just take a tablespoon or some sort of a spoon with a hard edge on it and just scrape till all these seeds and strings are kind of cleaned out. Try not to make too much of a mess. Good luck with that. All right, there we go. That. Okay. Then I'll take this and dump it into the compost. Okay, so here we're back. We're basically nice and clean. It's like scraping out a pumpkin, getting ready to carve it for Halloween there. So we're going to throw it in a baking dish, good sized glass one that'll fit them both. And we're going to cook them this side up. Throw just a little bit of olive oil on each one, just like that. And then take a brush, and you'll want to brush, make sure that you get all the edges good and thorough for when it's in the oven. That oven right now is preheated to 400 degrees for baking. And it's going to take about an hour to cook these up. So you always want to start out, get this spaghetti squash cut in half, cleaned out, throw a little olive oil on top of it, get in a pan, and then once we get all the olive oil done on it, we'll slap just a touch of salt and a touch of pepper. Just for that extra little punch. All right, we're heading to the oven now, so I got to shut this off because this camera's right in front of the oven. All right, now we're back. Basically, the recipe's calling out for half a cucumber, so we peel them, pull the seeds out of them, cut them into quarters, and then I go ahead and slap it one more time right down the middle because it's called for diced. So you just want, some nice little hunks. I'll turn this so you can kind of see. Yeah, just little hunks like that. Oops, I better catch those. So they mix in real nice. Okay, just like that. There's our, so that's enough cucumber for the whole batch right there. It doesn't take too much. Now what we do is start with a big bowl, and this is going to capture all the various ingredients that we want to put into this thing. So I'll go ahead and just scrape those right off into there. Set this thing right over here, and we'll start with our next vegetable.
Red, because they're sweeter.
All right, here we go. Yeah, we use red peppers, but okay, back here we're doing the carrots. It calls for 1 cup of carrots. I've got this cool little slicer we picked up. It's actually for doing what is it, those mushrooms that I can't remember.
And garlic.
Yeah, it works good for pretty much everything, but see, this cuts them real thin, and you can adjust this down to where it's just paper thin cutting. So I'm going to dial it a little bit thinner than that, so I like my carrots nice and thin for this. Right about there. Try it here. Yeah, see, these are just super thin little slices of carrot. So we'll zip through these things until we have a cup of them. And these devices, super sharp, so definitely pay attention as you get down toward the last part of cutting these things up. Make sure you don't shave off some skin or fingernail or something. Alright, so we'll get this thing going. Nice thin carrot slices. This turns out real nice that way. Alright, so I'm going to stop filming right now just in case I cut a finger off or something. And I'll be back to scoop them into the bowl. Alright, we're back. And I went ahead and measured these. It's this 2 cup measuring cup, but we just need 1 cut of these sliced carrots like this. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our bowl of stuff here. And looks like we'll get those all scraped in there real good. Set that back down for the next measure. Leave that over there. And I remembered what this is. It's called a truffle slicer. And it slices things super thin. It's also good for garlic and ginger. As well as the carrots for doing up these 2 recipes. So not a bad investment. I think it was like $10 or something. All right, so here we are. It calls out for what was 1 cup?
1 cup
of diced bell peppers. We use red. Looks better and it's a little sweeter. You can use green, yellow, even those purplish ones. But it's diced. So I usually just kind of slice them like that. You can also do it this way, but I don't know. The knife seems to grab a little better if you do it this way, I think. So we'll get them cut into strings like this. And I'll probably do it in 2 batches here. Probably 1/2 cup. Yep, we'll need them all. So finish this up real quick. And 1 more just for good measure. So here's our 1 cup peppers. Okay, and in with our batch of stuff there. Set that aside. Next is onions. Get this pepper stuff out of the way. Toss that. Grab these. the onions, we need onions for both recipes, but in this particular recipe, it's a half a cup of green onions, diced, small, so we'll just chop them up into little There we go. So, what was that, like 4 or 5 whole onions. Oops. That again. There we go. And do that. And then these we have to chop up in 2 sections. We're going to use some of them when we're actually cooking some garlic and onion in the oils, and then we'll have some more at the end for the cauliflower fried rice. It kind of goes in as a garnish, just the greens off the top, and you mix those in after it's all cooked, so you're not actually cooking them, you're just kind of toss them in there for a little flavor and color. Makes it look good. Okay, so here's the white part that we'll throw in with the oil and garlic and stuff. We'll get that set. Throw that in another little dish that we're gonna populate with stuff. Right, for the cauliflower rice. I think I said that. Fried rice. Yep, so chop away at these. And this we'll put in a little spare dish and just use as a garnish right at the very end of the cauliflower rice. And we're going to cook both of these things all at the same time, basically. So kind of do the prep. It's overlapping a little bit. Like this, both of these 2 last things I did is for the cauliflower rice. All that first stuff was actually for the pad thai. So there we go. Alright, here we're back. Each of these recipes is going to require about half of onion. It actually calls for half of a small onion for the rice, the cauliflower rice. And it calls for half a cup of onion for the pad thai. And these onions are large, so I think if we just cut this up about half and half, probably going to turn out just about right. It's the way it has in the past anyway. So generally that's what I'll cut it up like that, get it started, and then I'll go through about half of it, just slicing it down. Nice and thin. I wish I could get a better camera angle on this, but you get the idea. So, whoop, there's some on the floor. That's all right though. Okay, so here we are, going for the half a cup first.
That's good.
Yep, even more than a half a cup. About right. So again, it goes in with this mixture for the pad thai. I'm going to go ahead and leave this little bit left in here. We'll save it for the rice. So we need a little bit more for that anyway. All right, so let's jump in here and finish up this slicing. Away. It's just kind of diced up onion. We can run a few more chops through here and there if it doesn't look all the way done, but it looks pretty close there. Okay, got that all chopped up good, and that's going in with our other dish that we're doing for the rice. So get that in there. This. I'll go ahead and chop the rest of this stuff up and get it in there. Gosh, drop another piece.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah, I'll get it. Kicking some of these out. Too close to the edge. There we go. Some of these bigger pieces I'm just going to toss. And that. The rest can go. See, so that's definitely a good amount of onion, more than I would say even a medium onion, but that's all right. All right, now to finish off the ingredients for that cauliflower fried rice, we've got a couple of cloves of garlic that we're going to put in. Chop the little thing off of there. Got a garlic press for that, so we'll go ahead and slap that in the garlic press. That goes down there. Well, that was a nice clove too. Look at that coming up. There we go. Try running some of this stuff through there again. Oh, just a piece. There we go. Mash that all the way. And then I take a knife and just kind of scrape. And then that is the garlic for it. And then a half a cup of frozen peas and corn on top of that. So this,
Peas and carrots.
or peas and carrots, not corn, yeah. Orange corn. Peas and carrots, that's what's on the very top. And so that's all of the prep for the rice. All the veggies are prepped for the pad thai. And all we need to do now, there's that, oh, there's that, and there's that. So there's all the ingredients ready to go. Now we've got to make our juice and rice the cauliflower, the juice for the pad thai. And so we'll come back in a minute and show you how to do that.
Okay, here's my cool peanut butter tip.
Yep.
So my grandma taught me this years and years ago. Use it for shortening or butter. Butter's a little easy, but shortening peanut butter. So we need a half a cup of creamy peanut butter, and it's kind of a water displacement. So I've got 2 cups of water, cold water in here, not hot because it will melt your peanut butter. And you're going to put a blob of peanut butter in here like that, and get it to go up to. Put enough peanut butter in here to displace the water up to 2.5 cups. Can you tell we've made this recipe a lot? So now it's at 2.5 cups. And then you take, so that means there's a half a cup of peanut butter in there.
Yep.
And then you're gonna pour your water out. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Now all you have left is peanut butter.
That's right. And so really, she didn't need to do that because she kind of knew what the scoop was going to need to be anyway.
Well, yeah, but you know,
if you
for
need
your
to
first time, you
make it
may not-
accurate. That's right. You can just
No arguing on camera.
No, I was just saying that the trick is great, but we've made this recipe so many times that we really don't need
So
it anymore.
here's another tip too. You can't see it, it's gonna be off camera, but now we're gonna take this big thing of peanut butter and we're gonna put it over on the stove so it'll get naturally warm, so it's easier to mix in with the rest of your juice that Bradley is gonna start making when we come back.
All right, so here we are at the sauce creation part. And the first ingredient, actually first ingredient's 1/4 cup of water. Then we're gonna go with 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And we bought more soy sauce today and bought low sodium in case you're trying to watch that sodium level. And I always pop this thing out before I start for trying to do tablespoons. Good sriracha. Gonna do
rooster sauce.
Rooster sauce. Gonna do 2 good tablespoons of that because you don't want to miss out on its hotness in your recipe there. So we'll go 2 full good tablespoons, just like that. And then honey. Any kind of honey will do. I prefer wildflower honey, but all we have right now is clover honey. But we use raw natural honey, a little bit better for you. Don't want to give it to babies though. They say it's not a good thing. So we'll go almost there for the first tablespoon. That looks pretty good. There's 1. And almost to the second one. All right, that'll do it. 2 good tablespoons of that honey there. And then the magical sesame oil. This stuff has an amazing flavor and really kind of makes these dishes what they are. That and well, peanut butter plays a pretty big part too. But this flavor is very unique. And we're going to do 1 full good tablespoon of that as well. Okay, so that's all there. Now I also need 2 tablespoons of lime, a couple of tablespoons of garlic. Run it through the same way we did for the other stuff. We can let that honey drip out of there a little bit more. There we go. So we'll just set that up here for now. The limes. Well, my knife's getting a little bit dull, but that's all right. So to get 2 tablespoons of lime, you typically need 2 limes. So I just go ahead and get them all there. And if you have a lime press, it makes it much easier. You can do it by hand, or if you have a juicer, or, you know, there's several ways of doing it. But I like the lime press. It definitely is an efficient way of getting all the juice out of a lime. You can see that's just like completely gone. Let me go for the other side. And this time of year, the limes don't have very much juice in them. I imagine if we got some real good juicy limes, 1 might produce 2 tablespoons pretty easily. But these are a little bit dry. And we'll end up with a little bit more juice than we need probably. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and try measuring this now. So I think we're pretty close. Ooh, coming in extra there. Yep, I think that's 2 tablespoons. So now we got a little bit of lime we can use somewhere else. And then also we're going to have to, well here, we'll just real quickly press this garlic. A couple tablespoons of that going.
1 tablespoon.
Or 1 tablespoon, excuse me. Here, we'll just smash it right into the measuring device. We're going to be pretty close here. 3 good cloves. take that knife, drop it. About a tablespoon, a little bit short, but I might repress this one time, a little bit more out of it. Yep, that's just about the last part there. There we go. Okay, so get the garlic in there. Still got a little honey in there. Sticking. Alright, so that's there. Lime juice. Oh, the only thing we haven't done yet is the ginger. And this is going to take a couple of seconds to do, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot. See if I can get that prepped up quick enough. Again, the very, very thin slice with the truffle slicer.
Peeled it.
Right, it's peeled first. Fresh ginger is definitely the way to go.
Yes, the first couple times we made it, we used like already store-bought in a jar minced ginger because we couldn't find fresh ginger.
Right.
Well, then when we did find fresh ginger and made it with fresh ginger, it definitely added some more spice to our sauce.
Yep. It definitely gives it a little kick that you will notice.
So if you don't want it as spicy, then get your store-bought stuff. But if you want it a little spicy, do fresh ginger.
Yeah. Well, it just kind of makes the recipe pop a little bit, definitely.
But definitely not a requirement.
Nope. Fresh is always better. I think.
Yes.
All right, so we're almost through. We need 1.5 tablespoons of the ginger. So we'll go ahead and put in, that's definitely 1. Try it.
Notice it's overflowing one because Bradley likes his ginger.
I do. It really does add a lot to the dish. And we'll go ahead and we'll scrape off just a little bit more. Ginger. All right, that'll be enough for the ginger. So now we have all the ingredients loaded up, and it is time to mix. I'll just grab a fork and get to mixing, and I'll pre-mix this real well in here, and then once I get it all blended, I'll put it in with the peanut butter.
The hot peanut
and
butter.
Continue. But I like to get this good and mixed up first because that honey. You want to get the honey off the bottom of the measuring cup and make sure all the ingredients are good and combined before you introduce it to the peanut butter. So we pour it, have this little thing here, get it good and stirred up, and then I'll pour it right over that peanut butter.
Oh, and if you could
Continue.
smell it,
It's really, really
it
good.
is.
Yeah, this is some nice sauce right here.
We could
for
just
sure.
make this peanut sauce and drink it.
Straight up.
Oh, it's so good. It smells amazing.
Probably wouldn't be very good for you though.
No. Well, it is. It's a very healthy dish.
Okay, so that's pretty well spun out. Now we'll grab this and we'll pour all that in with the peanut butter. And then now the task of getting the peanut butter all dissolved in this fluid. It doesn't seem like it's going to mix up right at first. You can see it's all clumpy, and bring it down here so you can. But if you just keep working it, I'll show you what it looks like here in a little bit. About 5 minutes of blending. All right, so I've been whipping this probably 2 minutes. And so you can see now it's turned into this nice creamy sauce. And by the time you get done mixing it all up like this, the smell of it, your appetite is definitely going. You're ready to eat like now. So anyway, this is mixed up fine. We're done with that. Getting ready to do the ricing of the cauliflower for the cauliflower rice. Cauliflower fried rice. All right, go forth.
Okay, so here we are doing the cauliflower rice. I took a whole head of cauliflower. You can buy the already riced cauliflower at Trader Joe's if you want. I find it easier just to make it up ourselves, but whatever's easy for you. So I've taken pretty much, I left this one here so you can see. You want to really take the core, the bottom of it off because it won't rice up very well, or food processor, which is what we're going to put it in. So I kind of break it up. I'm going to do this head in 2 batches. So break them up a little bit, put them in. Like I said, do it in 2 batches. You get to a core like the stalk of it, I guess is what it is. Cut it off because it won't cut up very well. And you want it to look like rice. All right, so here I have about half of it. Put your top on. And about, what, 10 seconds?
Yeah,
See, here's a piece that didn't get completely, so I just pulled it out. Because you don't want to over process it, it turns to mush. And then I throw it in a bowl. And we'll start all over again. So do this until all your cauliflower is riced up. There you go. Show them what it looks like. It's kind of hard to see in the white bowl. I'm telling you, it's so good. You can make so many different kinds of rice with cauliflower, and you're not eating carbs. It's amazing. The Mexican rice is really good too. The one we haven't tried is the pineapple lime. Because we're too busy making all this Thai food all the time. We do it once a week. And then we hope we don't have company to share it with. Just kidding. Okay, almost done with my second batch here. And if your head of cauliflower is too big, you can always do it in 3. Cauliflower rice, or rice cauliflower.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. All right, now so for the cauliflower rice, it also calls for a couple of egg whites and a whole egg. We just use 2 eggs, works just fine. Throw them into a bowl, get them whipped up. I do it in a separate pan because I don't like how eggs stick to cast iron. So basically we've got this little pan here with just a tiny bit of butter in it. We'll get these eggs whipped up while that butter kind of heats up. And then once we have a good pan there, what we do is just pour it in. You're basically doing a scrambled egg, and you just chop it up. And it goes in at the same time as these go in after the rice has, basically been sauteed in the pan. You kind of cook the rice to where it's crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. It's just takes a few minutes. So once it's cooked, you throw in some soy sauce, put in these extras, and stir it around one last time, and then you've got basically it tastes like regular fried rice, so it's really pretty cool stuff. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right now we're just doing the egg for it.
I leave for a minute and you're ahead of schedule.
That's right. All right, eggs just about beat, butter's just about melted. All right, so here we go. That butter spread all the way around. There we go. All right, the eggs are in. We'll just rinse that same bowl out.
No, I'm getting you a new bowl.
And once the eggs are done, you just plop them right
That's
back
just
in there.
gross. We do not.
Yeah, you can. It's no big deal. It's eggs.
Whatever.
Serious. So just kind of flick these around a little bit. Now normally when I'm doing this, I've got the pan on the back all heating up for to do the rest of this whole thing. But today with the camera and this and everything else, I figure don't get too many irons in the fire at once here. So I'm gonna get this egg done before I start heating up the pan to do the rice in. So with the pad thai, there's really no cooking except for the spaghetti squash, and it's already cooking. So all right, that egg looks pretty fluffy and good, chunked up, just like you would see in fried rice. You know, you always see a little egg in there. That's good. And I'll put this into the fresh bowl.
It is a fresh bowl.
Oh, I know. Saw you get it. So there, eggs are done. You can get this pan out of the way. Keep the spatula though, because it's all the same food. Now we can grab this big guy, and this is where we're going to cook up the rice stuff. So we do a little sesame oil in the bottom of it, about a tablespoon. So at this point, I just kind of eyeball it because it's not, you know, a moisture. It's more about getting the stuff cooked in here. So still we're on.
It smells so good.
Medium to medium high heat, somewhere in there for this first part of it. I usually have it on medium high to get it going, and then I'll kick it down a little bit and really let this stuff saute together real nicely before I add the other ingredients. So this is the first ingredient we're going to do. Remember, we did all the onions, some garlic, the not corn but carrots and peas, and what there was something else. Oh, the other onions. So 2 different kinds of onions. So once this thing gets good and warm, so I like to hear it sizzle as soon as I drop this stuff in. It should start cooking. So get pretty close to go time here. All right, I'll go ahead and stop the camera until this thing heats up, and then maybe I'll bring it over the top and show you how the stuff should look. All right, so here we are back recording. I'm gonna back off a little bit. I've actually got the camera in my hand at this point, so it'll get a little bit bouncier, I do believe. And so here's all of our stuff. The oil's good and hot now. You can see the little bubbles starting to form there. So in with the pan of stuff, and then yeah,
Let me
Carrie's
assist.
she's assisting, throwing the rest of that stuff in there for me. And once it all gets in there, then we'll just start to basically stir fry it, you know, like nice. So I'll get it all laid out on the bottom of the pan, then I'll give it some time. Okay, so you can see how it looks now. I'll be back when it's about completely cooked, and let you know how it should look right before you add the rice and the soy sauce. Also at this point, the spaghetti squash are basically done. They've been in there for about an hour.
Yep.
50 minutes to an hour is what our experience is. So see, it's a little bit brown around the sides. If you take a fork and you poke it in there, it's pretty soft. Basically, you're gonna have to scrape it out, so you want it to be, you know, pretty easy to come out of the shell. If you do it, or out of the skin, if you don't cook it enough, it's gonna be too much of a pain, and it'll be a bad experience for you. So anyway, squash is ready, and I'll get back to my saute here. All right, so one of the things that, this is like a, what do you call it when you topping after it's all made. You get dry, unsalted, dry roasted peanuts, and also some bean sprouts. And what you do is, with the peanuts, is you just throw them in a little grinder and crunch them up so they're small enough to just basically sprinkle on the dish. And we'll show you how it looks once it's all done.
Fresh lime on top too.
And fresh lime, yep. Good thing we saved half of that lime, huh? All right, so here we are back, and then now this is what this stuff looks like when it's just getting ready to put this riced cauliflower in to this mixture. It's nice. The onions are kind of clear now, and that's a good spot to be. So basically now we're just going to add this this riced cauliflower and some soy sauce, which is hiding behind there. There we go. Gonna do a tablespoon of that stuff. Oh, already measured out. There it is.
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not looking at the recipe, so guesswork. All right, so I'm gonna put all this stuff together and show you what it looks like cooked. All right, here it is with the riced cauliflower in it. I'm gonna stir it around a little bit, and I also added the soy sauce, so this is kind of what it looks like. And we crank that heat up pretty high on it. It's definitely medium high or a little bit higher even, because you want to get a little bit of a crispiness to it on the outside of the rice pieces. So that's what it's looking like right now. We'll bring it back when it's done.
Here we've mixed up the spaghetti squash in with all those yummy veggies that we chopped up.
Yep.
And now we're going to add this amazing
Peanut sauce.
peanut sauce.
And over here we're finishing up the rice as well with the eggs in the clean bowl. Stir that around a little bit. Get them mixed in. And then the garnish of the green onions, which once we get all that stirred in, so you can see what's happening over there. And this all comes together right about the same time, which is pretty awesome. But it takes about an hour and 15, hour and 20 to do the whole thing.
Especially when you're videotaping.
Right. It took us a little extra time today, but not too bad. Okay, so there's that rice all mixed up, ready to go. The heat's off. We'll be serving that up.
Oh, I wish you could smell it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
It is pretty incredible.
Smell-o-vision right here.
Yeah, that would do. All right, so there it is, and I'm going to go ahead and shut us off again and come back and do it once we have it plated so you can see what it looks like completely finished. And so here we are, plated up. That's what it looks like. You've got a little garnish of lime, got some peanuts crushed on there, some nice bean sprouts, that rice on the side. Just looking good.
Go
and of
Hawks.
course, go Hawks. That's it.